I used to think that Liao Shao was just a goofball, but turns out his focus and adaptability are off the charts. But great flying skills can't prevent Liao Shao from causing trouble. The boss parked the car in front of the plane. He was late for takeoff, which didn't sit well with Liao Shao, but when the boss hopped on the plane, it was all wine and cigarettes, warnings here and there, acting all tough. Of course, Liao Shao got fired again. The video went viral and Lian Yang got roasted, but this time he miraculously decided to back up Liao Shao. He threatened to quit if they didn't rehire Liao Shao, and as the most senior captain, the higher-ups were at a loss. Perfect timing. A wealthy client wanted to charter a jet and insisted on top-notch pilots, so they stuck Lian Yang with the job while he figured out the other two co-pilots. With the boss blessing, Lian Yang quickly called Liao Shao back. He even brought his son along for the ride that day. After flying around all the time, his son turned rebellious and clueless, so it was the perfect chance for a father-son crash course in pilot life. Once on the plane, Liao Shao realized the second co-pilot was none other than De La. Clearly, this was Lian Yang's plan, but nobody saw this flight turning into a helicopter escape. Just a short while after takeoff, Lian Yang notified them a volcano island up north had an earthquake, and ground control wanted help evacuating elderly and injured. Without hesitation, Liao Shao told Lian Yang to fly over, and soon a little island came into view. With landing gear down, they safely touched down at a runway that was basically a clearance halfway up a mountain. Thanks to the volcano, the airport took a beating. Once the plane stopped, the head honcho rushed over insisting they take as many people as possible. With volcanic activity still ongoing, they could get a surprise quake at any moment, so Andre stepped in to calm the panicking. Andre was sent to the clinic while Liao Shao checked out the stranded passengers. Seeing the chaos on the first floor, he hurried upstairs. This quake was even stronger than the last. Not only was the terminal damaged, but one runway literally snapped. A barrel of fuel exploded on a different runway, flames spreading quickly and splitting it in two. The plane that got hit lost control and barreled right into the terminal. In that instant, the airport lost more than half its planes. Seeing that, Liao Shao dashed downstairs, scooped up a kid and ran. Luckily, the kid's dad was okay, took his child, and stunned Liao Shao found De La who took him home. This earthquake was by no means a trivial matter. It was more than just a heavy rainfall. In a state of confusion, Liao Shao found De La and promptly hurried back to his plane. At this point, many passengers wanted to board, but the head told Lian Yang the main runway was distorted. The secondary runway was for small planes, way too short, and the worst part, there was a big fire burning on it. They could only wait it out. Just then, a bus rolled in and a lady shouted that there were still miners stuck up on the mountain. They needed someone to drive, and Liao Shao, ignoring Lian Yang's protests, was eager to save the day. When Liao Shao headed for the wheel, Lian Yang's son jumped in too, normally rebellious, but when it's time to save the world, he's all in. And so, the two cars wobbled uphill toward the volcano as the flames below roared to life. Once Liao Shao and crew got back, they had to take off immediately, or everyone would be left behind. But the stranded passengers, faced with this apocalyptic sight, were terrified to no end. Some couldn't wait, and boarded another plane. Watching it get ready to take off, those who stayed started to feel the regret. Only Lian Yang and his team knew it was suicidal. People were in despair, and Liao Shao was anxious. With the road blocked by falling rocks, Liao Shao spotted dozens of workers on the other side and hurriedly waved them on board. Lian Yang's son, without hesitation, dove into the deeply buried train to rescue the trapped child, while atop the volcano, it finally erupted completely above them. Lava from the crater poured down like a waterfall. It was a horrific sight. Liao Shao urgently loaded the last rescued child into the car. They all rushed down the mountain. Time was of the essence, but they had to stay sharp. This flowing lava was a rare chance. Everyone knew they had to seize the moment. So, they raced toward the airport at the summit. Speed was the name of the game. Liao Shao rushed everyone into the vehicle, reaching the summit airport, but halfway there, Andre suddenly slammed on the brakes. The road ahead had turned into a river of molten rock. Liao Shao quickly reversed to dodge, but in that moment of hesitation, Andre's vehicle was swept into the magma. The tires melted in an instant, rendering the car completely incapacitated. With the situation becoming dire and the car about to plummet off the cliff, Liao Shao frantically shouted for everyone to get out. Then he kicked out the windshield, propping the car's roof so the passengers could crawl out one by one and escape to safety. After everyone had escaped, the fire reached the car seats, and Andre had no choice but to take a risky climb to the roof. Just as he leaped over, both vehicles exploded into intense flames with a huge bang. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but to get back to the airport, they'd have to hike down the mountain. Lian Yang spotted a cargo plane. They had to opt for a lighter aircraft with a shorter flight time. Lian Yang didn't hesitate, urging passengers to board quickly. But in the end, he didn't see Liao Shao and the others, and among them was his own son. Reluctantly, Lian Yang knew he couldn't risk the passengers' lives, so he forced himself to believe his son would make it out alive. Lian Yang and De La prepped the plane while the crew took care of the passengers. but they needed to make quick decisions moving forward. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button, guys. We'll keep bringing you more epic moments.